In this video, I'm going to show you how to do the dimensioning for the arm and the shaft. So here's the arm, and I'm looking at it in the southeast, and I'm looking at it in the left view because I want to draw on the arm. Now, if I did the view-based command, and I picked that arm, and I've already got the arm and shaft layout set, and I pick a point, notice that when it draws, it actually draws the arm at an angle, and I don't want that. Also, I'm going to type regen. I've already got the title block set up. For whatever reason, it just didn't regenerate when I first brought those in, but I did have my title block already set first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this out, and I'm going to turn my ortho on, and I'm going to move it out 50 millimeters. Oops, it needs to be a little bit more than that. Undo. So I'm going to move this out, and I've got my ortho on. Let's say 150 millimeters. I just want to get it away from the object, and I pick a specific distance so it's easier for me to move it back. Now, I'm going to draw a P line from the center point here to the center point here, and I'm going to draw another P line straight down because I want to rotate this down. RO, and this is just regular rotate command, and then I'm going to do a reference from the endpoint to this endpoint and bring it straight down. Now when I do the view-based command and I pick the object, arm and shaft, notice that it does show up this time. I pick and it looks fine. Now the thing that I notice here is I'm missing the key cut. Well, I can actually draw that in now and fix it up as I'm going along. So the key cut is 7.7 in depth and 12.6 in width. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this, and I am going to, now here's something else you should know. Okay, so I can see these here. Now if I move this object, let's just say I move this object, I'm going to turn my ortho off. Let's say I move this object over here. Now when I go back to my arm shaft, notice that the object is now moved up here. So you have to be really careful about moving objects once you started dimensioning them or laying them out on your layout sheets. So I'm just going to undo that. Now, since I've already got this line drawn, I'm going to offset it 6.3 to get the total of 12. So it's 6.3 on this side and 6.3 on this side. And I'm going to draw a polyline from this endpoint here to this endpoint here because I wanted 7.7 from that quadrant down. But I'm going to use this offset up here, and I'm going to offset. So the diameter of this circle here was 56.3. So the radius offset is 28.15. So I'm going to select that line, put it down. Now I'm going to offset 7.7. Pick the line and break it down. Get rid of this one. Now I'm going to draw a polyline over the top of it so I can extrude it and then subtract it out. So I drew a polyline, a closed polyline. I click on it. Now I'm going to extrude it just far enough back that it goes all the way through. And now I'm going to subtract. Pick the object I want to keep, pick the object I want to get rid of. And then you can get rid of the polylines. So let me take a look at the arm and shaft, and now I see my cutout. Now, in the example, in the project instructions, it actually shows this as a section view. So I click on the object, and I'm going to create a section view. Now, it automatically defaults to the first one if you just pick it. And I am looking at the full view. So I've got my extensions on, so I'm going to pull this down, and I'm actually going to pull it to the right. And then hit enter. Now, this hatching should be showed at an angle, but it looks solid. So I just picked everything, and I can pull down the hatch in my properties palette, and I'm going to change that scale to 25. Okay, because I'm actually using a 1:4 scale, and the scale of hatching instead of being 1 to 1. Now I can go ahead and delete this object. I don't need it. I'm going to move these over a little bit. And I'm going to move these over. Now I'm going to start annotating. I'm going to start dimensioning my object. So from center to center is 300. Now here's the thing is make sure you are on the correct layer. Put it on your dimensions layer. And I've got to confirm that with all my other drawings that I've done so far. So I'm going to go to my layer properties and make the dimension layer current. So you just check that little green box to make it current, or you could just have pulled it down here and selected dimensions. So now I'm going to do annotate, diameter, I'm going to do a couple diameters, and do diameter down here, and do a diameter here. Alright, this object is actually 8/100ths too large. I'll fix that later, but I'm going to go ahead and finish up the dimension of the object. So I can see where I've made errors along the way. In order to fix that object, then I would end up having to basically, I may end up recreating this or shaving this arm down. We'll have to see how to do that. But it is 8/100ths too large because it's only supposed to be 87.5. All right, but I'm going to go ahead and continue dimensioning, and then I'll fix that up as we go along. All right, now I have a linear of endpoint to endpoint, and a linear of the width of this object here. Typically we go ahead and pull it all the way down, but I'm just going to leave this on like that. Oops, not where I wanted it. I'm going to pull it to this side, and I'm going to pull it down. Pull that back. Now remember, when you have a yellow exclamation point, you just reassociate endpoint to endpoint. I should be able to pull it down. Here's the thing is, when you print this, the exclamation point does not show. So that would be the shaft, or the arm. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the shaft. Model. Now in this one, instead of moving it out, I'm just going to go ahead and do the 2D wireframe, because I can actually pick on the object just as easily. So I'm just going to use my view base command from model, and I'm going to pick the object, enter, arm and shaft, enter, and I'm going to pick this point, enter, and this point here, enter. All right, now I'll go ahead and start dimension it. Also remember that you need your center lines. So you'll end up having to draw center lines in. So I'll make that a little bit longer and change that to a center line. And I may have to change the line scale so it'll show up also. Okay, copy that. Actually, I need to move that. Oops. Uh-oh. Undo. Undo. Regen. It's drawn in the wrong place. I'll do it like that. And then I'll just group edit it. Pull it out. And then I can just match properties. Now I'll start dimensioning this object. Linear. And we've got 15.1. I'm only going to do a few of these, and then I'll give a a final version, but this is the idea, so you're not watching me just dimension everything. And I'll post the finished product. We'll probably go ahead and put the retainer and the plate on the same view and start doing my annotations in text. Now I didn't show on the body one, I didn't show the annotations in text, but I'll need to annotate any notes, what the body's made out of, that type of thing on a notes column. So I'm not going to show you how to just write text because you should already know how to do texts and notes, but you'll see what the final product looks like. So I'll finish up the retainer and the plate and put it on this drawing. All right, that's it for now.